All right, so if the red light is meant to be believed, I believe that we are
Mhm.
live again on another magical Monday because we usually record the show live on Twitch and YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So before I get too far along, welcome to another exciting episode of Low Key on the We Are Libertarians Network. I totally forget what episode number this is. Welcome to the this episode. I really expected Vincent to be on location, but he is not. He is reporting live from the 80s orgy den.
Whoa. 70s orgy den. Come on.
No, that's 80s.
More Quaaludes here. It's better.
Yeah, 80s Quaaludes. yeah. Screw you all, screw all the boomers in the 80s and took all the Quaaludes, burned all the money for retirement. Hate you all. Your stupid VC money destroyed and killed everything. Yeah, I said it. Oh, man, it is I don't know. So I do have a couple of topics I did want to bring up for this episode for the day. One being the topic of EVs. I want to get some stuff about EVs off my chest. Two, watching I think we may look back at this year around this time, as long as we don't go into World War III, Civil War doesn't happen. We may look at this as the starting of the trend of everything moving onward to a different direction. And what do I mean by that? So I started this show like this one to get away from politics, talk more pop culture, because there is, to me, I don't want to start a show that if I'm absorbing a show, I don't want to just do a show that I'm absorbing of. And I really find so that's why I don't have a technology show, because there's tech shows that I watch, but if they ever stop, they stop. They pod fade, they done. Yeah, about a month, 3 months time, I'll start a tech show, and that's how you'll know the pod fade. But because I have, I need to find this news and looking for it, and then once I know it, I've got to tell somebody, but
right.
But I'm content if there's on the show I can watch and scream at the screen at. But what I don't have is a lot of good pop culture stuff. I do immediately listen to It's a Gundam, Clownfish TV, and the Angry Joe Show, but it's just still not enough for me because, I have different tastes where they're just not at, or they'll have different spins on it because they still also don't give me everything I need. And the main reason was because growing up, I always had the ability to listen to other forms of media to get things of what's going on with video games and other pop culture. So, big elephant. Growing up, it was Tech TV or G4,
Yep.
right?
X-Play, Attack of the Show, the classic versions of those things.
This is what I had and what I really wanted. Oh, look, it's Reinhold.
Yes, if we were happening, I just don't think he found the link.
That's fine. Oh my God, look at that shirt. He's muted again, but there's yeah. Oh my
God. We can't hear you, Reinhold.
We can't hear you, Reinhold. All right, class. See, this is why you come to
Mortar Math in the morning.
It is.
This is why you come to sound check. Okay. All right.
Yeah. This is why I just pulled into the driveway 3 minutes ago.
We're gonna assume you slid across the hood. Okay.
I had a tray of chicken tikka masala, so I wasn't sliding across any hood.
It's cool.
Oh, that makes it more impressive. Yeah, it's more impressive. You just threw it in the air across the hood. You caught it on the other end.
Ooh.
And only lost half of it.
Gonna wipe the car down.
Oh man, the street's all over.
That's the thing is I just got the car Z-Bar protected in and out and all around. So
you
I had to pick it up. It's very slippery right now. It's got a good smell to it too. Let me tell you.
Sorry, now I got this image of Reinhold. It seemed like he probably have his cowboy boots on at the time because I assume Reinhold started wearing cowboy boots.
My grandfather was big on the cowboy boots. I never got into them that much.
I always envision you walking around with cowboy boots, tie-dye shirts all the time. I
tie-dye shirts. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. But we're talking Birkenstocks or Crocs, man. We're not going into the pointy shoes. Right. That's unhippie. That's like tight conservative with some looseness, with some Birkenstocks or some sandals or moccasins or something.
You're just leaving that stereotype now. The tech guy and the tie-dye and the Birkenstocks.
Hey, I came up in the 70s. I was actually not raised by hippies, but there were a lot of hippies around. And it kind of grew on me.
Walk into data centers. Ooh, the humidity's off in here. What? My toes can feel it. Your humidity's off. Let me get that checked.
Oh, okay. When you're talking about sliding across the car, it was like so that was Starsky and Hutch you're thinking of, right?
Yeah,
or how about the General Lee? Which one?
General Lee and Starsky and Hutch.
Well, see, did you see the
where people slid across the, which I've done one time. It's harder than it looks.
So there's a picture out there, the General Lee, the car that they painted it. Yeah. Somebody painted it blue with Union colors on the top and called it the General Grant.
Yeah, the General Grant.
And I'm like, if you really wanted to have fun with it, you'd paint some flames on the front of that thing and call it the General Sherman.
That's insensitive, right?
I cannot believe that's not a thing.
Honestly, it'd be better if you do that, or just make it just a Crown Vic, it's a police squad car. Just brother's going down now. It's like, what? This is a Union motor. What? This is counting one of his made up north. It's coming down. Anyways, all right, so before we get into that, you were ruined what we were talking into. We were talking, was getting this huge monologue. I was monologuing, right, into pop culture, what I was looking in for. And because I really feel that I think because I always was just trying to find turns of media. And one thing I've always got upset, and I think a lot of it came to head during the Gamergate is a lot of the game journalists wanted to be political journalists and political activists, but they kept talking about video games. They got jobs in video game journalism, and it was really annoying that they put the Trump stuff in my PlayStation game, in my PlayStation stuff, or my GTA things, or tell me that I've got the soggy knees, and it's like, dude, I just want to know what the graphics card is going to be at, and can you just tell me? That's all I want.
Well, aren't the prices coming down so much now? They're starting to bundle graphics cards with like
it used to be
anything. Yeah.
They're be able to get it right. And I've told everyone, you know what? I need a new graphics card. I want them to burn. I refuse. And I tell everyone, should I get a graphics card? No, you shouldn't buy one for the next 3 years. Don't. And if you do buy a graphics card, buy an AMD.
EVGA is out of the NVIDIA business.
Okay, so. Yeah, that was huge. I expected eventually the other shoe was going to drop because FXX got out. What was it, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago? And I loved FXX cards, and the simple fact can't get an. It's what happened? Why can't get an NVIDIA FXX card? And then EVA is poorly they apparently it was Gamer Nexus, and there were some other journalists in to tell them hey. Can't talk to us is fully launched, and it's we are we're cutting off the partnership because of, and I'm completely understanding with you the simple fact that NVIDIA is out there selling cards and then undercutting the price that they're selling their cards at.
Right.
Yeah, I think the agreement used to be that they had to charge a certain premium over top of it. It was considered the gold box or whatever it was that it was. the original cards.
Yep. Or just allowing EVA and other board builders to do different things. Because like that was like that's why I enjoyed FXX cards. Their driver's a little bit more stable. That's why I went with SXX. And I like the return policy, or they would do different things to it. Like they have different cooling management on it, or they would go like the different, like the board design was different. You know, I think it's from the old NVIDIA 9800 XT days, those days back in, it was like 2002, 2003. Remember the big 9800s in Crisis and get this thing play Crisis?
I remember those days.
Yeah, a couple of times. I think, even with Vincent, we sat there and it was at a couple of LAN parties, and I bought like a crappy Walmart, like $300 Walmart like desktop, and I just used the Dremel tool and shoved 9800s in it to see if we can make it play Crisis. Poor Celeron.
So tangent, what were you saying, Harry? So tangent, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, well that was the thing, is the idea of wanting to get into. I feel finally, especially these. So I'm sorry to hear about all these layoffs happening in the gaming journal industry. I feel bad for all these journalists at G4 that have got laid off, right? And it could be not even some of the journalists, the craft services, everyone that goes around it. There's other jobs or support services around that. People are getting laid off at some of the worst time, especially inside the industry, because it's happening all around their industry. But I'm sick and tired of a lot of these California VC money backed journalist people, like in their politics and then what. I just want to know what the game is. The game good or the game bad? And tell me the truth about the game. And I want the truth. I don't care about like you're gonna lose your access. I just want to know what the heck is going on about the game. And yes, thank you. Everyone loves the cat ears. But it's so like I think there's been a spark of massive layoffs going on in the gaming journalism industry as you watching them get laid off because the just like the BuzzFeeds and the times, like the VC money's drying up, inflation is hitting them. The websites aren't worth nothing. I've seen a lot of these companies try to go like BuzzFeed, they try to go public for some god awful reason, and it's like a lot of these, especially with what I tell people to be careful. A lot of these startup companies, when they try to go public or they try to do things, it's like you don't own nothing,
right? Or they go the massive opposite direction, like a lot of the stuff that's happening in the esports industry, where the major CS:GO tournament owners are all owned by Saudi Arabia, and they're all taking Saudi Arabia money.
It's backed by this. It's all fake. It's not real. That's that's what gets me a lot of the startup space. Is like, look, they barely own the office. They don't own the office space. It's leased. The servers are cloud servers, so they don't own physical servers. And their product, right, is like, well, this cloud server is just a product. So like, there's just lines of code. It's a proprietary code. Is anything that's it's just like processes, right? So you own a process and just useless. Useless is expensive.
The name.
Yeah, and the name. That's all you've got, huh? That's all you got? Bro, you don't have anything. You don't have anything. Oh, this is $1 billion. No. Just like I think, and I'll get into this when we talk about EVs later, is like I think Tesla is way overvalued as a company. Super overvalued. But they actually own physical things? Versus they're physical plants. So those machines can get built and do things, right? They're physical products that they're getting like that. Or do I think they're overvalued? Yes, but that's what's up. But and I think when it comes to a lot of these things, that there's when these bills are coming due and they're not giving this return on this investment, and with inflation just hitting everything. Like I just spent $250 at Meijer going to the grocery store, and it felt like I barely had anything. and before, like, go to Aldi, screw you. I'm not going to Aldi's. All right.
Yes, standards, man. Well, at least there's no more.
I just want to bag myself. No, honestly, I just want to bag myself. Oof.
Right?
Oof, bag myself.
Yeah, I used to bag in college. I was 18 years old. So. You used to get tips for it, by the way. I used to tip the baggers because we would carry them out to the car for the elderly ladies, and they would tip us.
I heard of that one time when O'Malley's, I did that like at O'Malley's a couple of times.
O'Malley's. I was trying to figure the name of that company 6 months ago. I was trying to think of the name of it. I never did figure it out. O'Malley, that's right. Mm-hmm. Writing that down.
I used to work for Marsh and O'Malley's. I used to work for that company, so yeah. So and I loved it. Like I remember I could ride my bike to the local O'Malley's, and as a young 14-year-old teenager, like the shopkeeper was like, yeah, if you help put groceries in the car, they'll just tip you, right? They'll just tip you money, because a lot of people at the time didn't want to lift it like these heavy things in the car, So you would sit there and help bag and then push carts back. It was a lot of fun. But yeah. Wow.
You're gonna get me on a rant.
Me
watching the point disappear into the horizon.
Just watching it trail off. But But my point is just watching it. It is. I think we're going to look back to this time and realize this is when the other shoes drop. We're getting the game journals, the pop culture journalists, all that stuff like that. I think everything that has been buffed up with fake VC Air bots, all that stuff like that. I think those platforms are going to show the cracks in their systems. This is going to start this year. Everything's going to start
So repeating 2000 again.
Yeah.
99, 2000.
Yeah.
Repeating it. I don't think it's going to be as bad as that, but I think it's going to be bad.
It's not nearly as bad as that. I don't think there's enough hype and inflation stuff into that, but it's going to get bad for them in that area because because they don't have real views, stuff like that. Or they're all bots, or the branding's not there, or you can only sell so many D&D books.
The real issue, especially when it comes to the game journalism aspect of it, is because most people don't get their information on games through articles and websites anymore. It's this is the YouTuber that I really like, and they're playing this game I really enjoy. I want to know what their opinion of this game is. That's why you have the Angry Joes and the Moist Criticals who does movie and game reviews as they come out, and he gives his honest opinion on them. That people have lost the trust in the game journalism so much that they would rather hear what this guy that plays video games every day on stream says about this game more than they trust anything else.
Exactly.
And because of that, it's created that their system, their microsystem, their ecosystem is kind of crumbling around it because they didn't know how to evolve with the YouTuber and TikTok and social media market without coming off as cringy.
Yeah.
Or tryharding or doing things that was meant to be their thing. Even G4. G4 is a is an esports company. G4, when they came back, a bunch of the people they had on there were YouTubers and people that had already made a name for themselves off platform, and then they brought them into G4, and their mixed messaging on G4 caused themselves to crash.
Yep.
When you have when you have one person on your channel messaging one way, and then at the same time you have somebody who's the exact opposite of your message on your channel, it kind of ruins your own thing.
Variety of thought and opinion is not something that isn't looked on kindly. I mean, it's a shame we don't know a game writer, journalist, by the name of Hody or anything.
Oh man, that cricket was amazing.
Can you hear the cricket?
Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty loud in here. I don't know why it's outside the door.
But it was perfect at that moment because we was just be quiet.
What he's talking about. No, it was more of that
Well, Hody abandoned us. Okay, we didn't abandon Hody. Okay.
Before in particular, when one person goes extremely hard one direction and then their entire messaging is completely thrown out the window when when one person is talking about how this isn't for you, we're not here dealing with you, and then they market something directly at the people that she was saying you about. It's one of those.
Well, and I think what that also did was also hurt them, because then it was like, okay, so those people that like did get hurt like that, it just split them in half too, because like, okay, it's like, okay, I didn't like getting yelled at that, so I'm not going to watch your content. It's drawn everything. I'm going to watch someone else's content, and since these other people do what I want, like, okay, I'm going to follow this. Like, oh, this VTuber that you have on still says the same thing I want, everything I want, and well, she's going to jump back over to Twitch. So I'm going to go back over there. Toodles. Have fun. Have fun over here in your little pond. Told me not to watch you, so I'm not going to watch you.
Where's the people at nowadays? I mean, so the gaming, all that stuff used to be on Twitch. Then YouTube made a push to make it there. And of course, places like Mixer tried and failed and everything else. But
Mixer was an amazing platform. I
never said it wasn't. Beta was an amazing platform.
Gaming in general is very widespread because there isn't a consistent place. Most of the streaming stuff is on Twitch still, even though YouTube's trying to make a push, but it doesn't really go anywhere. So did Facebook. Facebook trying to make a push, but that didn't go anywhere either.
Yeah. Literally, what I see are people doing. Yeah. So what I was doing Twitch would be I'd stream, and then there was just an easy button you push, and it would export it and push it up to a YouTube channel for you. You just pushed a button, and it was there, and then you get YouTube views, right? So that would be how to do that. That's how I was doing that, and that was 5 years ago. I mean, I don't know if it's anything that's changed since then, but
there's some things that have changed and has moved on. But like, I think which is also good is like a lot of competitive. Like, Twitch it is really hard currently right now because of the different sites in the walled garden that have been put up, which is really difficult to get noticed with any. It's really hard for like a lot of huge organic growth.
That's the worst problem with Twitch has been for a long time, is that you really, unless you get pushed by the platform, like there's a guy I know who is really good at a game. I used to watch him all the time. He got partnered. So as he got partnered, his partner, they had created this new partner outreach position. He talked to him and got him to say, okay, we'll put you on the front page on this day and you can get some hours there, stuff like that. And he exploded because of it, because people saw him.
Yes.
And were able to get him. And I was modding for the channel at the time, and it got a little crazy because people were coming in with a lot of nasty things to say because of the person in question. But he still, I mean, then he streamed for like 3 or 4 years really, really consistently. Then he quit.
Right.
And then he came back for a month or two, and then he quit. And then after like 3 or 4 years, I just found out that he's out streaming, and he started streaming 2 weeks ago. So I mean, I see that. And there's people who've been on there for years and years and years and years, and they just have a small following that never get any bigger because they don't get any push, any algorithm push. Right. When the YouTube will push people to you, you go to YouTube and they'll say, here's a suggested channel, here's a suggested video, watch this video, how about this video, based off of your likes. It tries to do that. Twitch had none of that. It's like, I want to go see somebody playing this game, and you go see the top people with the top ranked by how many people are watching him, which just keeps the top people up on the top, and you never see any of the guys down there with 1 or 2 viewers who may be good, but you don't know because you don't scroll down that far.
Right. The biggest thing about streaming and proof positive is of course the VTuber market. It's all about personalities at this point. If somebody likes your personality, no matter how good or bad you are at a game, they don't really care. If that's who your personality is, they want to watch. Somebody who is both talented at the game they're playing and has a good personality. Somebody like C9 Mango, who like does Smash and the platformer beat 'em up games, he gets a decent viewership, but it's not like massive because he has just a small community of like 5,000 people that come and watch him for his one thing. It's it's all about the personalities and the specific games, because communities build around the games. So like when Multiverses came out, which was the WB Smash Brothers clone kind of game. People still play it. People still play it, and it's still and like I've seen streamers get like 2-3K that are not like the best, but they're interesting personalities. Or a new character comes out and people want to see how this character plays, so they go there and that's how they experience the characters. A lot of it just comes down to whose personality do you like the most, and if you are you okay with them being mediocre at whatever game they're playing.
Yeah,
that's always been the key.
YouTube algorithm is also like, as for their live gaming streaming, it's atrocious of trying to find new people organically. It's easier to pull someone like they already subscribed to your YouTube channel, but YouTube gaming, just trying to discover someone on YouTube gaming when they're streaming live, it has been difficult. It could be better, but it is harsh, just like Facebook is harsh.
Streaming is horrible on YouTube.
Yeah, I think Twitch, with its raid feature, does help out a little bit more, because then if you get big and like a smaller streamer that you do like, you can pull your audience slightly over to this other person, but you don't try to go to like someone who's at like 5 with like 300. You don't do that, but you try to look for, like, I mod in several different channels, and we usually just from that and being in a tight-knit community, you can get moved up to like this, just from doing stuff like that. But
so YouTube is really bad for streaming, like you're saying, but it's really good for people who are putting out content. Like,
yes,
I wanted to see some 7 Days to Die a couple years ago, because I was like getting into 7 Days to Die again. It'd been a while, and I was like, oh, the new came out. It's a lot better now. I'm gonna go play it. So I was like, let me watch a couple guys on YouTube. So I watched 1 or 2 guys on YouTube, and based off of me watching them, I started getting other 7 Days to Die. But it was episodic stuff too. So they would do a video of a day, and then they put that up, and then the next day they'd have another video of the next day, right? So they would cut it up into those bite-sized pieces, about half hour each, and you start getting, oh, how about this guy? You like this content, you might like this content, right? And then you get a whole collection of people playing the game you like, and you can start saying, okay, who do I like the most? Who do I enjoy? Who's got the best work? So there's one guy called Guns, Nerds, and Steel. I mean, he's new. He's really kind of new to this whole thing, because he used to watch Glock 9. And he's like, oh, I'd love to do what Glock 9 doing. So he tried to learn a little bit of that and a little bit from Neebs Gaming. And now he's putting together content where he's got he's got a secondary camera in the game, so he can do B-roll footage. And he's got, he loves putting audio in and having like beats, like on a horde night where you're killing him with the killing blow. He would have the killing blow timed on the beats of the music. Bam, and then you see another bam. He does a lot of fun stuff like that, and he's really good at what he does, and he's gained a huge following because of it. But he didn't get that from doing anything live stream. What he got his biggest hit, and he just put out a video about how he got started and his process and everything. He said his biggest hit that got him known was he put out a loot, everything you need to know about loot in Alpha 20 video. So people went to go see that. They saw him. They said, and then you go, when you watch somebody, YouTube goes, hey, you watched him once before, you want to see him again on this one, and they'll pop that up for you when you go to your channel. Yeah,
it's that time, like what is like the time on target, the idea of how many eyes you put on that. They see that, like, oh, cool. You sat around for this thing for 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Cool. You must like this channel. In order to keep you on the platform, we're going to do this for you. And it's sometimes really difficult to get people to sit there for that long.
But it's beneficial to the streamer too. It's good for the platform, and it's good for the streamer too, or the video content creator, right? Yeah. Right. That's the problem with Twitch, is they have no organic discoverability like that. They can't build off of, hey, you like this content, let's show you some other things you might like. They just have a stock. Here's some popular games people are playing.
Yeah, I will say that it does. Twitch does that. I get tired of them. Like, they always throw me like these popular streamers like that. So I have to go through and just like ban. But nope, I don't want to see them. I'm banned.
Yeah, I don't care about those.
What about this entire category of hot tubs? I don't want to see anything in there. Unless it's Uncle Iroh, I don't want to see it. Okay.
Going back to the YouTube stuff, the issue is, it's good and bad in that manner of if you have to make the consistently roughly the same content. So if you go to make content that's massively different than something you normally upload, you end up running into an issue. One of the people that I'm one of the YouTubers I watch, Nuxtaku. He does a lot of jokey and funny videos, and then he did like an hour and a half long video about how Hell of a Boss has changed, like how Hell of a Boss is the show has changed like animation and how it plays on YouTube. And he's like, yeah, I spent like 2 weeks working on this video, and it's the least viewed video on my channel in the past 2 months, but it's whatever. I'm not bitter at all. I'm not bitter at all that I spent all this time making this video, but it's whatever. It's fine.
I enjoyed the video. I watched it this morning. I loved it. I thought it was great. It like brought to like yes, it really captured like my love of the show. And don't say his name, please go.
Well, and I've seen a lot of content creators and streamers try to tackle that whole thing about they don't want to get stuck in one game. Mm-hmm. Right, because that can be dead to you, and once that game kind of dies away, people stop watching. Right, so you see that with Kami, where he's trying to do all this other stuff besides Paladins. He uses Paladin videos because that's how he makes his money. Right. But when he streams, he's streaming a whole bunch of other games.
Right,
and then so the two of the big 7 days content creators, Glock 9. Glock 9's great because he's just like New Jersey has got a great sense of humor where he's just joking about stuff all the way through. He's fun. But he doesn't do face cams. It's just him doing the game. So it's all his personality. He's got to really put into it. But then, Conan came out and he decided I'm going to do some Conan. But what he'd do is he would put, 7 Days to Die, put his series out. And then one day, I'll do some Conan, and then the next week on that day he'd do some more Conan. So he would still be putting out content for that to get people to watch and come over to that, but he wasn't cutting into his main source too. And Jawoodle's the same way, where he's trying to do Ark and he's trying to do Conan as well. So they'll intersperse them in there. But then you've got people like Direwolf who plays Minecraft every day. There's a Minecraft episode every day. And it's always Minecraft. He's not out playing other games. He's playing different packs, different mod packs, and that's what he gets his variety from. But it's never anything but Minecraft.
For what I was seeing is that your channel needs to be a consistently one genre of thing, and you don't want to put too many things that break a pattern into it. Somebody like Summoning Salt, who does the history of speedrunning games and how the world record got to where it is now compared to when the game first came out. Whenever his hour-long videos come out, they get 500,000 to 1 million views because people know that Summoning Salt does speedrunning videos, and if I want in-depth analysis on the glitches and the shortcuts and everything that happened to make Sonic 4 or 3, whatever one the last one he did, I think it was Sonic 3, and the speedrun is like the fastest is like 28 minutes with like a bunch of glitches and like frame perfect leaps and frame perfect glitches that like make it so that the stage scrolls but the image in the background doesn't, and so you don't spawn any enemies. It's when he has a consistent set of content when compared to somebody like who I just brought up, where he makes a bunch of shorter comedy videos, and then when he makes an in-depth analysis video for something that he really cares about, that in-depth analysis video gets shunned by the algorithm because that's not what he normally does.
Yeah,
it's not what he normally does, so the algorithm doesn't want to promote this long-form video to his fans or the people that would be interested in it because that's not his normal content.
Yeah, and that's what some people are doing, alternate channels too. So there's people who do music reactions now, they're doing movie reactions, but they separate them out.
All right, so as this turned into streamer hospice, okay, I know it's like, but streaming is
this week in Twitch.
People are streaming a huge amount, and it always have been. People stream it for over 2 decades. Okay, it's not going anywhere. It's big business. Someone's basically, it stinks that like some big companies have stepped up and is controlling the market. There's not a bunch of variety. As now, there's becoming a big 3, at least for safe for work streams. There's a big 3 right now, which I really hope it gets broken up with a 4th, something more people come in and help decentralize, especially if you get something that has a little bit more. And I think when I was talking about like the whole like looking back at this time as money shifts around, I think we might be able to get another Twitch channel or sort of streaming thing pop up in this time around while people try to scramble and try to build something new, while while everything starts becoming back to content focus and we get away from these marketing campaigns that are just used to attack fans. And I think, and that's my main theme, my gut punch thing of like, I think we're, like these, when some money dries up, the money is gone. We're seeing that now. That's I wanted to capitalize that before you guys keep going into this streamer hospice and this faux how to stream video, something like that. Okay. All right,
well, I think the numbers have already started dropping over the past few years, where they started cutting back on what they're paying Twitch streamers now. Partners are paying the Twitch streamers, so they're trying to get all their money from either advertising or selling, stuff on their merch store, or doing
donations,
specific, donations, things like that, or Patreons and things. And so it's hard they're trying to supplement that income because the numbers. I mean, there was a high point for Twitch. It has gone down since that point, and YouTube is up, but it's plateaued, in my opinion. So
YouTube can't make money. It's too hard.
Yeah, well, YouTube has never had it in their business model to make money. I don't know how they do it. Except I have to admit, I'm paying them $5 a month, but that's just me. People like me are crazy just because I hate ads, and I watch a lot of YouTube. So I almost never watch regular TV anymore. I just sit with YouTube and watch videos all day.
That's fine. Hey,
it's fair.
Hey,
I enjoy it more.
It's fair.
Except when She-Hulk comes out, I have to watch it. So.
Do you watch it alone in the dark, or do you like,
No, my wife likes it too. She
okay. The way you said it was like, I gotta watch She-Hulk.
But it's
it was just like,
lean green and poured straight into these jeans. That's what she's called it.
Whoa. Okay, all right. Clearly, Right-Ho does watch that alone in that green room.
That was the title of last week's episode, by the way. Just like
before we get on the MCU tangent, let's go ahead and finish.
I'm not going to go on.
There is no MC. There is no.
We're not going there today.
MCU.
We're not doing
tangent. We're just not going to do that. We're not doing that. Or this. We're not. Or I think what Clownfish calls a dose of dismal Disney. We're not doing that. Not doing that.
There was a tease at the end of the show last week. I'm just saying.
Well, honestly, like I think there's a lot of good teases on the back of a lot of the MCU shoot. They do really good. Like I think they missed the point. I think the marketing teams and a lot of the blogosphere missed the point on the twerking episode. I think a lot of the memes on it was people because they actually thought it was neat and was like, this is more comic book She-Hulk than anything else, which people kind of wanted. And I think like, people hate it. No, some of these memes are like, yes, we
loved it. Most people loved it. It was just the people who are like, well, I just don't like twerking, and I think twerking is gross. And like Holden, I guess is his name. He was just like, I just don't agree with twerking. I think it's gross. I'm like, fine, but don't say that this is bad because of it, because this is funny as all get out.
Yeah. You just look him right in the eye and go like, are you racist? You could say it. It's okay.
Are you racist against green people?
Scientifically, they're in the ocean, so it can't happen. Oh my god! So
no.
Don't get me started.
We're not doing that.
You said we weren't going to tangent, and you started tangenting. Harry, this is your fault.
All right, so now I'm gonna pitch into my thing. Like I saw a post, right? So people, and it gets me good because like it's my fault. I already hate Elon Musk and the Tesla fanboys, because a lot of the Tesla fanboys aren't car people, but they try to talk like car people. Like, hey, I respect EVs and what they are and what they can be, but is it the fastest production car, the fastest blah 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 blah? No, it is not. The Teslas are slower pieces of junk and will get spanked by a stock MR2. I bet you take that thing. All right, so let me get into this. So everyone keeps talking about like the Plaid edition. It spanks hypercars. This thing's $150,000. It's hypercar. It's super and hypercar range. It's not like it's $50,000. Like a Corvette punching up the hyper supercars. That's impressive. That's a $75,000 to $80,000 car. Sub $100,000 car punching up at higher in its weight. You're talking about a car fully loaded, above getting close to $150,000. Like, oh, it's so oppressive. Shut up. You know what? How much this car costs as much people's houses, and you're trying to like, oh, yeah, so fast.
I got this car over here. It's $1.2 million to make. Yeah. I bet I could blow everything off the road with it. But who's going to buy a $1.2 million car?
Right. Yeah, you can't use that, and especially like the way that the Plaid makes speed. You can't barely use that legally on any roads. That it's because of how it accelerates. It's got to sit there and you put it in the code, and you're going in a straight line, and you've got to be able to do that. So there's got to be nothing in front of you, and this road's got to be completely smooth because you have to dodge. You get a pothole. You will learn this thing called torque steering, and you're gonna. And enough onboard crap to save you from that because you will run out of skill before you run out of horsepower, and it's gonna hurt. And that's my thing when you talk to these non-car people and then you get old like Tesla fanboy. So when I talk about like if a car is fast, right, it has to meet certain clarifications for a car to actually be considered fast, because other than it's impractical speed or it's stupid, right? One, it's got to be quiet enough to go past a policeman sleeping in their car. So if you out there on those country roads and there's some policemen or police woman or police person, right, they're sitting behind the stereotypical sitting behind the billboard and they're asleep in the car with the gun up, right? If I can blow past them at 100 plus and they didn't hear anything, that's a fast car. But if they hear me a mile away, brah, 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 and all right, they'll sit the gun up, right? Car not fast. Car's not fast. You might as well grab a Honda Civic and do the speed limit because you're going to get pulled over. That car's not fast. Sorry, you're too loud.
The EVs, yeah, but the electric cars they can be very quiet. So I mean, that's one of the advantages that they have.
Yes. That's what I said. Like I can respect that. Cool. You're quiet. Awesome. What I'm looking for. Okay, hit some of the qualifications. But then it messes up because it's only really fast in a straight line. They're heavy. They're really heavy. So diving and
their handling package too. Yeah, that's
diving and raising corners are its penalty. It's
it's got a different center of gravity, right? I mean, cars have engines or the center front part of the thing. The EVs are the underneath the passenger or the rear seat mainly is where most of that weight is. So it's just when you try to go around corner, you got a different whole set of physics you're dealing with. And I don't think car makers have come up with good ways to really do good handling in those different situations.
No. And they, like I said, they weigh a bunch. So going down a mountain, if you're coming down Pikes Peak, you're gonna run out of tire. You're gonna run out of tire before you get halfway down this mountain. You're gonna tear these tires up. So you have to slow down. Not fast. Sorry, not fast. This stock Toyota MR2 will pass you eventually because its tires will be completely fine. It's lightweight. It hasn't gotten off the throttle since it started going down the hill. It'll just leave your Levy behind, no matter how much money you spent on it, how much plaid you have on it. And there's proof in the pudding on this. So this Japanese style racing series, which is like, kind of based off initially, was got the Togue racing, right? I've brought it up several different times. Togue racing, right? So Togue racing is like, think of tight mountain pass roads, a lot of left, rights, bumpy architecture, and really small and hard to pass on. And a lot of car builders, I invited car builders and race car drivers to come here and race on this road, right? And they were finding out like most of these cars can't go it. You can't do it, can't run it. And I think like some of the first car that hit sub 25 seconds, right, on this little small little race course was a stock Toyota MR2. What? It spanked it. Mercedes brought out an amazing 6+ figured AMG, SLK just to the hill. Like this thing is power on money and power, right? Couldn't do it. Barely cracked the top 10.
You seen the Cletus McFarlane stuff?
No.
So he's got a YouTube channel where he started off where he was taking some old cars that weren't that great, but he was getting like bigger engines and he was cutting it into them and he was putting them in and he'd go race them You know, on the drag strip, he would run in the modifieds and the different types of classes, and he was getting wins with this setup they had, and he was trying to play with this and play with that, and so they've been having fun with that. I actually started doing races with celebrities at Bristol of all places, and I guess they had a big wreck the other day, so it's been kind of a thing. But that's like people trying to trying to come up with new ways to get these cars fast and get these cars to handle better. And they're just going around the car makers and doing it themselves and seeing what they can do.
Yeah.
And it used to be, remember, there used to be the 24 hours of Daytona
on
Le Mans. Yeah, but
still out there in 24 hours of Daytona. Yeah. And hopefully
and that was for that.
Yeah.
That was for it used to be where you proved your cars.
And that's half the issue is like a lot of these EVs don't go racing. Formula One's got an EV, what is it, like Formula Electric, or I forget what it's called, right? But it's not anywhere close to the same grueling task that a Formula One car has to go to. The 24-hour Mans allows hybrids in there, and they don't really use them as hybrids. They use them as accelerators, okay, to get around the corners. That's how a lot of the hybrids, but Toyota has perfected their hybrids and they accelerate really quickly out of the corner. That's where a lot of this tech comes from. But yes, it is racing, and a lot of people won't take these EVs, don't go racing. I think we'll probably see more of it, especially now that Ford has been releasing more of their. Have you seen the Ford electric crate motors that they released? You can get, just like you order like a Ford Coyote motor, you can order a Ford electric motor. And they cracked this year at SEMA, they put out the F100 and it's showing people how to convert older cars to electric. Which hey, this is impressive. That's pretty neat, but I think you're right. Getting people out there and getting out to racing leagues up there. But a lot of times, like some of these battery packs and how people they're not that safe to be like getting to crashes like that. There's different like safety metrics. So I can also understand why no one really wants to race these suckers, because you gotta have a different safety pressure, which most racetracks don't have the money to deal with.
Well, because in the old days. Yeah, back in the old days, they didn't care. I mean, they were just saying, okay. So right now you get all the different leagues and stuff, all the racing stuff. It's like, okay, here's the hole, the diameter of the bore of the, injector you can have, and this is all these limitations that keep the cars a certain speed, and they're trying to find ways to finagle it. It used to be come with what you got. If you're faster than the other guy, you go. And then so people were coming with all kinds of new innovations. That's how we had such moving forward of car technology through the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s was because people at places like the Indianapolis Speedway, they were just racing whatever they get out there, and the ones that were better were winning. Yep. So people started copying that, and then safety features came out of that because people were like, Billy Vukovich dies, so they put out safety features and stuff. Yeah. So
it's like take a lot of the things we see in a car we take for granted, like the steering wheel and the effing pedals, the way we see it that way. That was designed by Cadillac and it won a race. It was functional. It ran and it kept winning races. And they got rid of the stupid switching crap. They'd be like, that stuff is junk. We get this wheel thing that Cadillac made.
Well, all the cars these days have like paddle shifters on the sides. I mean, for sports mode. I mean, that came from Formula One. I mean, Formula One and IndyCar at some point. That's how they shift. They can't do it in there because their feet are so clamped in. You can't drive that car with your feet half hard of the time. You got to be able to paddle shift.
As someone who's 6 foot tall driving a tiny Japanese car, I know. I love my paddle shifts because I can't really move my foot. Like sometimes, like I'll have my foot just like this, just sideways. It's easy because I can't get in there. Trying to get in there, but anyways, yes, and I think, but yeah, and we've gone so far away from racing too. It's like there's hardly any tracks to really go off in racing right now. And even go unlimited, because you're right, they try to keep everything so similar in play. And that's why like a NASCAR got boring. I think once you finally got crew chief and they're trying to shave down axles on the car, just shave monocle of weight, and then you just have to sit there, watch a race, and watch an axle just come off the side of the car. It's like, can you guys just let off the rules a little bit? Also, I'm sick and tired of looking on the field and seeing this rear-wheel drive carbureted, Monte Carlo out there, and I can't buy that Monte Carlo. I got to get this front wheel drive, fuel injective piece of junk, but I want that. I want that. That's the Monte Carlo I want. I want that one. No, here you go.
There was a big lull. There was a big thing so IndyCar was getting they were putting new track records out every couple of years. You know, they were really advancing up, and they got over 200, and they got into 220s, and they were doing really good. And then the Speedway came out and said, okay, we're changing everything. And they made all these different rules and dropped the speeds down 20 miles an hour.
Yep.
Top speeds were way down again. And it took a decade and a half for those numbers to creep back up finally. Yep. But, you know, so there's a possibility to say, hey, we forced innovation because now we got more innovation to get past the limitations we were putting on them. Mm-hmm. But it's also, you used to go to the race and see these 220 mile an hour cars, and you go next year and they can't break 200, and you're like, why am I here?
Yeah,
and they wonder why the attendance started dropping and people weren't paying attention to it. That was why.
Yeah, well, like the 24-hour Le Mans, they had to put the chicane. They put the chicanes in there on the back straightaway because the Mercedes CLKs were literally taking off. Remember that? And then was it 98? Was it 98, 97? Do you remember that? So like,
I saw Indy cars doing that back in the early 90s and mid 90s.
So like when Vincent was like what 2, and so this Mercedes CLKs were coming down. They're coming out so fast,
3 or 4,
that they literally were taking off, flipping the drivers off out of the course. And actually, one of the drivers got out of their car and walked into a bar and was watching the crash happen on replay, walking in like, woo. I need a beer. Because I could imagine top speed sitting there on that back straight, and that's where you got to crank a lot of speed. Like a lot of people know that straightaway from watching like Ford versus Ferrari, that massive straightaway you watch them go down. That's not like the way it is anymore. There's a big chicane in the middle of it. So for the Americans, like, what the is a chicane? Well, if you ever watch what is it, Pocono, they have to stop in the middle of the straightaway, turn right, turn left, and go back going straight again. It's a chicane. It's a great traffic calming technique, which should be used on a lot of different roads to help calm traffic down when coming into cities and towns, especially like the country roads. Like I think the United States does it terrible because it's like, here's this nice, good, flat, open country road. You get up to 80 miles per hour on, and then instantly 40, and here's a town. Mm-hmm. I think they really should put a quick chicane corner turn in it to calm and slow you and purposely slow you down. But, you know, that's
well, you know why they started with the interstate systems. They started putting them straight and realized that people were falling asleep because it was just a straight line. So they started purposely putting those curves and bends in all those interstates. That's why they're there. It's not because of, this makes the most sense for the topography and all. No, that's not. It was to keep people awake.
Yep. And the thing is, like, once you start banking, like you can go so much faster down it's banking. You almost want to go faster. It's banking.
Have you ever been to Bristol?
No.
So we went to Bristol vacation with my mom and my dad. My wife and I did, and we stopped at Bristol and went in there, and they were like, "Oh, you can do a tour, but the tour's coming out later." So I said, "Well, can we just go kind of look around?" And they said, "Yeah, go out and look around." Well, they normally have the gate to the racetrack closed. Mm-hmm. But when we got out there, that gate was open. Ooh. Because they were driving something back a little bit or doing something. So you've got this open gate. I walked out on the middle of the track and was taking pictures. So I got a lot of pictures of like dead in the middle of the straight, but that thing is banked like 40 degrees. You have to walk down like real slow, and you can't you got to be careful with that. And that's how they get those speeds around that small little track, is they bank that. They're ever loving the crap out of them.
I know, and that was like a good test on suspension aerodynamics on cars, and now like, well, it doesn't matter anymore. No one cares. It's.
Oh, we eventually got yelled at too, by the way.
Okay, good.
We weren't supposed to be out there.
Good. Glad the Bristol yellow shirts yelled at you. Good. But yeah, that's my thing with EVs. They need to go out racing. They need to be raced. They need to be, and I think also with EVs, I think we're also going to find out here the next few years of what happens when these EVs get to 10 years old. What really does happen? Like, there's all that speculation on these battery things, which is all just speculation. We have no idea. We don't have no hard, real world data on it, and we're going to get that. And which it's. I typically I told you, like, my hesitancy is one, I don't trust these corporations with having this many electronics controlling everything and don't have access, and I can't get past it. It's like having a computer that I can't open, can't do anything to. The operating system, what it is locked down. I don't like that, especially when it costs me so effing much and I just can't buy my way out of it. And the idea that this battery is sealed in here and it's going to cost me thousands of dollars to get out of it, and I was like, well, then you've got to give me some assurance how long this thing lasts. So we're going to find out. And I think so. Thank you for all those suckers who bought first gens, so we could find out. It's impressive. I think a lot of the early Tesla's ones are coming back. They're like, some of them are finding out like they just have individual banks, which is also it's a good sign of some of this battery technology that's out there. What I'm more worried about is the other manufacturers. I'm looking at you, Chevrolet, BMW. That's it. You come on. I've seen the crappy plastic BMW put in regular cars that just fade away, just turn to dust, let alone like some $20,000 battery in a car. Come on, let's see what happens.
One thing I don't understand is that I remember reading about 10 years ago about some technology of like liquid solar cells. So you could roll this out. It was very, very thin solar cells. So they had prototypes where you just roll out this 8x8 piece of solar cell, put it on a table, and it could charge your phone. Right. Then you roll it back up, take it with you. So they were playing with doing paint with solar cell technology. I'm like, you put that on an EV where the whole outside of the car is collecting the sunlight and charging back some of the battery from that. I think you got a real move forward there.
Barely charge your phone.
Well, no, I mean, if you have enough, you know what I'm saying? We're not talking about a small little pad on the top of the car. We're talking about a bunch. But I mean, I saw a meme the other day where somebody was just ranting about how this guy decided to put like electric generators inside where the fan would turn it. So when you move forward to turn the fan and it charge up the generator and it charge back to the battery. And why don't they just do that? Because then you just have this, you don't have to worry about charging the car. You just go and it charges itself and blah, blah, blah. It's like, they don't do a good job of teaching the second law of thermodynamics in schools these days. And everybody started just punking on him. It was hilarious. But
I know, it's just like,
but what I'm saying is that, and when I was growing up, I thought about this where I'd have four batteries in there, and the three batteries would run the car and then charge the other battery as it's going. They would cycle through, and you had the fan generators and the brake generators and things like that. But you add on top of that things like the solar paint and things that can overcome the losses you get from the other charging technologies. I think that you can start coming close to a point where you can extend your ranges from what we have now, which is abysmal for the most part. I mean, it's better than it used to be, but it's still not that great.
No, I think the electric car range is where it is. I think we need to cap some of this at a point. I think we need to prevent some of the electric cars from becoming so heavy. The Hummer electric vehicle is at 9,000 pounds. You heard that, right? So if you see that electric Hummer behind you, know this 9,000 pound vehicle is behind you. Don't let this thing behind you. This is basically what I'm telling you. Don't let it behind you. Let it pass. Because it ain't stopping. It ain't stopping. Especially if it's raining. It ain't stopping. That is a sled. It is dangerous. I think we also need to, have different, because these EVs weigh so much. I think their speeding tickets should be more expensive because they weigh way too much. Okay.
All speeding is immediately increased to dangerous driving.
Yeah, you weigh too much. You weigh too damn much. We
have all these special rules and regulations on the semis because they weigh so much. I mean, it's the main thing, right? So
yes, they weigh so much. We should also bring the rules down for cars that don't weigh as much. We should be able to go faster, which encourage people selling smaller, lighter petrol cars.
But the problem is that you get the slower trucks that are heavy and the faster cars that are light on the same roads. You're asking for trouble because people aren't going the same speed anymore, and you got weaving in and out and people going up and down on each other, and it's just
which is
it
fine.
can get ugly. So
You're supposed to weave in small cars, okay? That's your safety factor. The problem is that someone has drives like these massive Yukon and $9,000 Humvees, like they're driving like a Honda Fit around. That's the dangerous part of it. We've all seen that person who drives that gigantic SUV like they have some tiny little Beetle. You know, it's like, whoa, you can't just, especially, which is worse, right? Now, I'm even like, I'm not talking about soccer, but I think the worst offenders are the freaking hill jacks out in the country that it's got this stupid F-250 Super Duty diesel dually thing, and they're towing a bunch of like an 18 plus trailer on the back of it, and they're weaving in and out of traffic or doing 80 to 100 plus. These bastards are awful. This is terrible. This is effing dangerous. You know? Hey, when I go allegedly over 100 miles per hour, I'm in a lightweight sports car. It's just me in the car, hardly anyone around me. I do it very safely. If I did it,
in Minecraft.
But I don't do it.
In
Minecraft. If I did it, in Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Yeah. So that's my rant. I hate people who drive actual crazy. That's actual crazy. That's actual unsafe driving. It was like when people call unsafe driving. Nah. This is unsafe. That's what you're doing is unsafe. You want
some safety features that I really like. Since I just bought a new car that has safety features on them, some newer stuff. I mean, they have the lane assist, which is fine. If you start to go out, it beeps at you, blah blah blah. But the best thing I have is it's kind of a safety feature, but it's also a convenience feature. Mm-hmm. You put it in cruise control. Mm-hmm. It detects the distance between you and the guy in front of you. Mm-hmm. So you put the control on 75 or 80. You're driving down the road. Now somebody pulls out or there's somebody slowing down in front of you. Mm-hmm. It slows down and matches it. You don't have to watch and put on your brake and then slow down and then cause people behind you to then check up and things like that. It's nice. It just lets you go. And you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss that. I had to drive a rental car this morning because I was having it in the shop and then I didn't have that feature and I was getting kind of angry. So I've had the car for a week or so, a week and a half, and I'm already spoiled on it.
The lane assist, I nearly killed me driving in the mountains of New Hampshire. One, not used to it, because I despise majority of the driving age. Like some of them I just gotten used to in cars because you just can't get away with them, like ABS. Like I always try to find a car without ABS because I learned how to drive without it, so it messes with me. I want to pump my brakes, my foot wants to pump, and pumping with ABS. I'm sorry, my brain. I can't not do it. It's my own fault. But I hate most driving aids. I like to turn them off. But the lane assist. So I'm used to. So I had a very big, gigantic SUV, right? And I'm driving on these small, tiny, mountain roads, allegedly going. Kind of, maybe, possibly. I was more concerned about my safety of going above the posted speed limit, possibly, maybe, allegedly.
In Minecraft.
And the thing is, I would have a line. I have to craft a line. My apex is going to be different, right? Or have to go a little too far in or too far out just so I can get the weight to shift so I can go to the corner correctly. Well, with lane to shift, they don't like that. Nearly crap my pants. As this thing turns the wheel the other direction and basically towards the cliff, get me back in the lane. It's like, oh
no! So I'm glad I can turn it off in my car because that does kind of worry me. I mean, I like it for the wife driving it, but for me,
just I turned that off. It was neat in the city. It was like. I was like, this is neat. I can sit here, basically let go of this thing, get on my phone, and it basically turn the corner for me. But I get it. I freaking get it. I understand it. And it's not like I fight against some of these driving. I do it does encourage idiocy or give idiots more comfortability to drive a car, but it also protects me from said idiots because I know they're on their phones. the issue, the whole stopping sensor, there are sensors on some of the new cars that it just won't let you get in closer than 2 seconds. That 2 second, that 2 car lengths, it'll prevent that happening, which is great because we've all had that Dodge Ram behind us with their high beams on. You're doing 80, it's like boo, 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 come on, let's go. It's okay. I like to mess with those guys. My favorite thing that I like to do is lightly tap my brakes with my left foot, but I'm really on the accelerator hard on my right foot. That's my favorite. Or my very personal favorite is you get ready, you know that when the corner's coming up on the off ramp, and you cut your lights, and you go through it without hitting the brakes, so they don't know the corner's coming. Ah, good times. Anyway, so. Before this episode get too long in the truth, we've hit our hour. Say what I want to wrap something up real quick, get something off their chest, or they said something they want to walk back right home.
I stand behind everything I ever said.
More
I may have been wrong, but I stand behind it.
More trailers for Chainsaw Man came out. The anime is going to be amazing. They decided that they were going to do it's 12 episodes, and each ending's going to have a different song. So they basically have their own album for this anime.
Only thing I care about with the Chainsaw Man thing is when it gets released in the US, who's localizing it?
I don't know. All I know is that in that anime, there's a moment where a perpetual motion machine of violence happens. And that in and of itself is a selling point alone.
4 kids come back for Chainsaw Man.
Did we talk about Weird 2 weeks ago? Can't remember if we talked about it or not. I talked about it with somebody, but it may not have been you guys. So there's a new movie coming out. It's called Weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biopic of Weird Al Yankovic's story.
Mm-hmm. Well, Daniel
it's going to be under
Weird Al.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe is playing Weird Al. Rainn Wilson is playing Dr. Demento. Rachel Evan Woods is playing Madonna. And it is potentially one of the funniest things. The trailer is one of the funniest things I've seen in a while. It's going to be fun. It's going to be good because it's a biopic. It's a parody of a biopic. It's fucking hilarious.
It's all real, everything in that movie.
Everything happens.
Yeah, totally.
100% true.
I'm personally just glad I don't have to go to a movie theater to go watch it because I would probably get kicked out for laughing too hard because the trailer had me in stitches.
Well, I still want to go see Clerks 3, but I just don't want to go sit in the theater. I'm going to wait till it comes out. But I hear it's good, so yeah. It's meta. It's very meta, and I love the meta stuff that they're doing with that movie. That Clerks 3, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it in theater. I'll watch it streaming bootleg because of what he did to He-Man. Yeah.
What do you mean? He-Man wasn't even in that show. What are you talking about?
30 years of iconic movie making, and you don't like what happened to He-Man.
It's not He-Man. It's Masters of the Universe, Harry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Come on. Because He-Man's not in it. Come on.
No. Honestly, I would take it back if he apologizes. If he apologizes to Clownfish TV, I'm all good. But that MFer didn't apologize. How dare you call out? It was not even a small, like a medium size, like pop culture channel. That is like, someone like let's say we talk trash about, I don't know, like as I've been pooping on Elon Musk. That's like Elon Musk hitting me on Twitter right now and just messing with me, and it's just like, bro.
like if you and I
still hate you, but like we're in different leagues.
like us talking about how much I am not a fan of most of the DC live action anything, because come on, man, that Dr. Fate looks so bad. It looks.
I mean, you're not supposed to punch down, right? Yeah. That's the whole joke. You don't punch down, which is why I don't talk a lot about what's going on in the libertarian movement these days.
No, it's fine. Wow, right. Wow. We got Coach like, wow, can't wait to see that. Love Weird Al and Dr. But yeah, it's going to be an amazing, I can't watch it stream. I think I'm probably going to end up watching it like 5 times because one, I've got to watch it solo and sit there and crack my life up. 2, I do want to watch it again with Christy Avery. I want to watch it with her.
You want to watch it with her when it's her first time to watch it, not her 5th time, because she's watching it the minute it drops.
It's
so
impossible.
How are you going to do that?
It's probably
we have to do a watching party or something. We can stream it. We can do a reaction to it or something. put out reaction videos. Wall reacts, and that'll be the new thing. Wall reacts, and we just do reaction to movies and songs and stuff, or political people who say stupid things political wise. We can react to them. It would be really fun. I Hody tried to do something like that once, and it kind of fell through, but we'll get back on that.
About that.
Things are hard to do. It's pod fading. Like, oh, speaking of that, so I might as well do it here live. Screw it. I was gonna try. I thought about doing this behind the wall, but anyway, do it how do you like? So I kept teasing about doing the 4-hour long show. How is October the 7th, that Friday? How's that looking for you? Or either going to be October the 7th or the the 28th. So is it going to be the 7th or the 28th of October? How do those two Fridays look for you guys? For one,
October 28th is real close to Halloween, but that's okay. My only concern is I just need a little bit of heads up. So if I can do it that weekend, because I work all day on Friday, but I can. Sometimes my Fridays are a little light in the afternoons, and I try to keep them that way so that I can have I need to get out of here type of thing if I'm not got anything crazy going on. So if I could do that and get out a couple hours early, take a nap, and then be ready and primed to go for 4+ hours, then we'd be good to go.
Yeah, see, like I would do a Saturday, but my issue is that I've got to wake up with my daughter by myself solo on a Sunday morning, and doing 4 hours with you guys and drinking and trying to wake it up because I think the last time I think I stayed up till like 1-ish street watching and hanging out with streamers on last Saturday, and my daughter literally came in the bedroom with a box of donuts and was just eating them in the bed watching me. It was the creepiest thing it was just like that is creepy.
No wonder you're willing to stay up to like 3 a.m. on Fridays, because you don't have to deal with that on Saturday.
No, the wife gets up, she'll go bother the wife, and the wife goes up there. It's just like I know my wife is mad at me for sleeping in. I'll get up and she won't make coffee. He's like, she won't make coffee till she knows I'm walking around, It's like, this is petty. This is petty stuff. This is petty stuff here. All right, so I know. Hey, if I can, trust me, I wish my wife had Sundays off to help me and do things would be great. But yeah, all I've got is that Friday, guys. I'm sorry.
That's fine with me. Just
it's
just one day you don't have to deal with me learning Mave. It's better this way.
No, you still have to do it while we're doing the 4 hours.
We're doing the 4 hours
in the background. We'll just keep checking it on
4 hours.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Hey, 3-0 on Siege. Come on.
Yeah, 3-0. Yeah.
It's Siege.
Never touch it again. 3-0 Siege. Yeah. So Reinhold, we're.
I had to put it away because I'm just too good at it. Right? Is that what you say? Yeah, it's not fair to the other players.
It was
right.
It was an unmitigated disaster, and I'm surprised we won half of this game. Especially that first game, we should not have won that game. We had no rights to winning that game, but we did, mostly because our team was giving up, and then people don't seem to understand that in these kind of games, your KDA doesn't matter. Pressure and distractions matter.
Yeah.
I was 9.
Oh yeah, I was chewed out
9,
by a guy on that one night.
Yeah.
I was 9-16 with Mave that game, and we still won. We still took the W.
Yeah. That's what I always did. That's always did with my flankers. You go down there, you just drive them crazy, and they kill you. But while they're killing you, they've got their back turned to the action going on, and they're getting it. So you're pumping up your teammates' KDAs while you're killing yours, but you're being very, very annoying and harassing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the other problem with like I talked about with Vincent is the video game Paladins just has some terrible stats for trying to report what happened in the game, and the community is also bad on it because they do concentrate on just damage, how much damage they did, and their KDA. And it's like there's more to this. Things like, where did this damage happen? Was this mostly shields? Was you killing the same person? Or were you people
a lot of damages aren't registered, like knocking off the map damages and Maves execute the 35%.
Yeah, they
just die. They don't take damage. They're just dead. That doesn't count as your damage skill.
Right. Yeah. And there's just things that happen. It's the same thing like we talk about because we bring the same thing back to the NBA. It's like there's more stats of this stuff that's happened. It's just oh crap, you're missing shots. Yeah, but but when I do hit the 3-pointers, or when I do they're consistent in a corner. I drive everyone that I pull the defense. I can when I do this, but You can't get that with paladins because some people will sit there like, oh, I'm solo damaging with Shaolin. I'm like, really? You don't do enough damage fast enough with that character. Or Strix. Strix does amazing point though. I want to give Strix does a lot of great damage. Just don't do it fast enough by yourself. Right. They will heal that up and murder the rest of us, and then come and murder you. Especially if you sit back super far, you're not keep moving around and being annoyed. I think the best thing a Strix player can do is keep them think. They can't know where that sniper is. They got to keep guessing. Making them flinch every time they hear that shot, so they're thinking about coming out of holes. That's some of the best Strix plays I've ever seen, is when someone's just got, the Strix player is gotten over to their side of the spots and just shoot at them, and then you just keep moving around the map.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that takes that takes the other team just doing different things, and when they're playing with us, like, we can put that type of pressure on so a character can go off and do something like that. And right. A lot of teams that don't, they want to sit there, shoot behind the rock, act like it's Valorant. It's not Valorant. Paladin is not Valorant.
Yeah, your life doesn't matter.
It's a different game.
Unless somebody touches the point.
Yeah. Completely different game. All right. And the only thing that matters is the W. Anyways, for this game being long in the tooth, thank you for everyone for turning in, especially if you made it this far in the episode, because you could listen to anything else in the world, but decided to listen to this. And that, I thank you. Thank you very much. We'll be back again next Monday. And I think we actually think this next Monday, we actually do more. Move on, because I really got some gun to wing stuff to talk about. I could probably take up the whole hour, but I'll keep it a nice, easy type 45. So, right. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a good day.